I want to try to show you graphically what this idea of composite functions is supposed to be, as well as use a t-table to hopefully see the simplicity of it all, really. I hope that you will be able to transfer your knowledge from graph to t-table to function notation to word questions very smoothly without thinking much about it. Okay? So the graph I have on the sheet, along with the t-table, they're supposed to agree with each other. Of course, I have integers down here, but the graph here has straight lines, which means all the decimal places also count. But just bear with me. If we're looking at f of x, it's this funny looking, I guess, square root kind of sign. -3 has a y value of 2, so -3, 2. With me? And then -2 has a y value of 2, -2, 2. Just, you know, -1 has a 1, blah, 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 and then 0 has a 0, and then all of a sudden 1 has a y value of 3, so it jumps up, and I just try to keep it simple without having to do every single possible x value. And so assume that it's not just integers, but it's real numbers. Now, if I were to give you information, or if I were to give you a question that involved both at once, in fact, it's f, not g, so f of g of x. Okay, so what is f of g of 3 is how you might want to read that. So taking a look, what you want to do, literally, is interpret...
That was f not g.
Well, yes, so you read it as f of g of x.
Okay.
So in other words, this another way you can write that is f of g of 3. Okay. Wow, that's terrible. Let me write that one more time.
So then we just plug in the 3 whenever you see x.
Right. So what you'd want to do is you'd probably be very much interested in what f of g of 3 is before you even give yourself the opportunity to do what? F of whatever that number is. Okay, so let's start from the inside. Graphically, what does that look like? Well, what's g of 3? G of 3, g of 3, g of 3. G of the x value 3. Oh, over here, sure. F of g of 3 would be a y value of 2. That 2 value is the y value of g of 3. Essentially, what you're saying is, what is f of 2? F of 2 is 3. So the answer to this would be 3. So let me try to highlight the colors so that you have a better understanding. First, we are looking at g of 3, so that would be right here, right? Which gives you a value of 2. That 2 is going to be placed into the f, which will give you a value of 3. Think about it this way. Graphically, so g of 3 would be g of 3 right here. Okay? When x equals 3, my y value is a 2. So literally, now that the y value is a 2, you stick that on the x-axis once again. If the y value is a 2, for f of x, I get a 3. Right? I'm really trying to hone in on just it's not supposed to be rocket science, right? If x is a 3, it gives me a 2, so you plug in 2, and you get a 3. Do you see what I'm trying to get at here? Graphically, t-table, this way, anything is, it's all the same. Okay? Can we try the other two? Very quickly. I would recommend using the t-table just because it's simpler, but if you want to use the graph and sort of mix and match, you can. G of f of 3. G of f of 3 is the same as saying g of f what I'm going to do is first figure out what that is before even attempting the G. Okay? Let's see. F of 3, right here. The answer is 3, which means you will plug 3 into the value of, to the G function, which gives you I'm trying to be hard. I'm not trying to be hard here. So this would equal 3. This would equal 2.
Yeah, that's not yet.
So, ready? So what is f of g of f of 1? Here to the outers before doing the last one. That's getting tricky. F of 1 gives you a value of 3. 2, and if you plug that in, it gives you a value of 2, and if you plug that in, it gives you a value of 3. The answer would be a 3. All right, let's talk about it. Given the functions of, obviously that's the calculation of 3%, and g, this is what? What is that a calculation of?
The sales per week.
How much is earned. Which function should be going into the other function? Which function should affect the other? It's worth investigating, it's worth exploring. So let's talk. If I did f of g, so if I did f of g of x, okay, this is how much money made above $5,000. And this would be, we'll do a different color, commission. There are a couple of ways you can do this. You can actually try both with an example x value, right? And does it make sense? If it does, I think you found it. If you try it the other way and you put in an imaginary x value and the number doesn't seem to make sense, well, that's a good indication that you got it wrong. Right? If you're good with words, if you're good at reading and comprehension, I think you automatically will realize one makes sense while the other does not. Take a look at the other option. Okay? So we have g of f of x, which is you get commission first, and then you calculate how much of that is above 5,000.
That doesn't make much sense.
You get what I'm saying? So even just from a reading English comprehension standpoint, one does not make sense. Let's say you wanted to try just throwing in a fictitious number. Let's pretend you sold, I don't know. Let's say you sold $6,000. Okay? You sold $6,000, which means that's supposed to be a dollar sign. If you sold $6,000, G of 6,000 would be, quickly, subtract 5,000, 1,000. And that is placed into your F of, maybe I should do green. Just keep it consistent. F of 1,000. 3% of 1,000, $30. That makes sense. Okay? You get an extra $30. Not a big deal, but this is just an example. Okay? Of course, if this was your working condition, I would argue that you fight for your rights. Okay? Let's, on the flip side, entertain the thought of reversing the functions. So let's do I have any space here? Erase this. The effects of F of 6,000 would be what? Commission? 3% of 6,000. 52, 60 times 300, $80. And then you take that and you calculate how much of this is above $5,000? You get negative 4,820. Get what I'm saying? So yeah, you can try a different number, you can try to understand it logically. Everything should point you the same direction. What is the correct answer? The correct answer is F not G. So it would be F not G of X is the correct representation. Quick thing. And what about doing the answer piece for the last question? If you want to take a look at that. I try to highlight things accordingly so that you see which equation is going into what. I'll put this up as a later bit of the video anyways. Please take a look. The concept, again, I think it's very simple, and I feel like inequalities are more complex than this, but it does require you to think a little bit, not in terms of mathematics, but more in terms of what does it mean? What is it trying to tell me?